Welcome to the No Flop Zone. As you know, we're coming to you earlier, and we're going to come to you earlier every week as of this week. So look for us on Tuesdays. I'm your host, Boti and Joey, with Joey Wright, the coach. We're going to talk about all things basketball, especially NBL, especially refereeing, and it's brought to you by Built Solutions. Got anything to say about Built Solutions? Because it's Steve Walker, isn't it? He's our man. And I wanted to find out if he was any relation to Johnny Walker and if we can get some product.
I would like to know if he was related to Johnny Walker. We definitely will sponsor them. Just seeing Steve over the weekend, I think, the great thing about Steve and just himself is how much he gives back to basketball. He's over there at Woodville cooking hot dogs and cleaning floors and, seeing him coaching kids. I mean, he's, for a president, he's extremely active in what he does, and it just shows his commitment, and that same commitment goes over into work as well. So when he's out there working, he's doing his job, and for Built Solutions, he's that same committed individual, which I think a lot comes from playing sport. Right. I mean, someone like Steve, who was, sport kind of shaped and molded his life, those convictions about purpose and doing things the right way, you just don't know any other way to do it. It's a great man and great organization in Built Solutions.
Let's talk about refereeing, because I don't know what is going on with NBL refereeing.
I might get fined.
You won't get fined. We're free to talk.
I can say what I want.
Honestly, that round, I think the refereeing, the first couple of rounds, it was very physical. It was really good. Yeah.
I thought it was physical. I thought it was decent. Ironically, I thought the game they brought the physicality off was the game Cotton when Adelaide played against Jack Jumpers, I think it was.
Yes, yeah.
And that was like, you just barely touch anybody, not just Cotton, but anybody, and it seemed to be a foul, and that was drastically different than a couple weeks before. And then what we saw the other night was just
it's almost like
idiocracy.
The instruction was, no tolerance, zero tolerance, tech foul to everybody. The worst case, obviously, was Brian Goorjian on Sunday.
Ridiculous.
Yeah,
ridiculous. Well, this is what I hate. I hate when referees compound their ignorance. Okay, it was stupid to give him a foul initially. Yeah. That was stupid. Okay, he's obviously going to be irate. He's coached a long time, and he's never probably gotten a technical that he didn't deserve until that one. Brian's had technicals before.
Technicals. Every coach has had a technical.
Yeah, you have tactical technicals, and sometimes you have some. Yeah. But that one he didn't deserve. Every technical I ever got in my life, I deserved every single one of them except one. Okay. And I'll remember that one. And that one at that particular time stood out and was so, raw, because you're in the middle of a game, you're trying to win a game, and then that happens, and it's where someone purposely picks on you, and that to me was just stupid.
Yeah, I just couldn't believe it. And to say, you've got to control your emotions here, because we could hear on the referee's mic, that's what referee James Grigor was saying. It's like, what? Just get away from it. Like,
don't even look at him.
Why did he get the tech foul? Because he jumped on the spot on what he thought was a bad call against Suarez. Mm-hmm. Fair enough, but it wasn't like he threw his eye. He didn't carry on. He didn't do anything. That's what he's saying. What did I say?
Brian can't even jump that high.
I never saw him dunk. Never saw him dunk. Brian, if you're watching, if you've got footage of you dunking, we'd like to see it. But that was ridiculous.
It was ridiculous. And I thought, it was a few plays after that was ridiculous, and it just got ugly from the referee. The referees became part of the game.
Absolutely. And then there's the one that you sort of referred to really then by saying about referee ignorance, like when they miss a call and then they compound it by giving you a tech. Because when John really complained about Bullquall shoving Jaron really out of the way to get the ball, it was
fair call.
Fair thing to say. Hey, that should be something. Psh, bang, tech foul.
That's the one, and at that point, there's three of them. All right, if one of them made a mistake, the other two should say, "Hey, you probably missed that one. There's going to be some noise right now. Let me go calm this down over here. You go to your spot, which is across. If they make the call, they cross the court, and go down. Brian, we missed that one.
Yeah,
or John, we missed that one, and just they'll shut up.
Yeah,
they'll shut up. Referees just say, "Hey, we screwed up." Coaches will shut up.
What's happened to that? What's happened to that ability to communicate with the coach and just say something like that? You go back to the days of the Mal Coopers and Ray Hunts and Bill Mildenhalls, the great referees, Jeff Weeks, the great refs. That's what they used to do. They would have a
100%.
dialogue going with the coach, not non-stop, but, what's happened to that?
Once a referee shows you that they're human, then you want to do the human thing. You want to do the right thing. You want to be a human when they show you they're human. But when they show you they're elitists, they show you that they're arrogant, they show you that they know all, they show you that I got the power, then obviously you want to combat that as much as you possibly can.
So we've seen some ridiculous things over this round. I take you back to Will Magnay against Sydney, where he's scored over Xavier Cooks. There's been a bit of a connection afterwards. They've called the foul on Cooks. He's made the basket. He's made the free throw. This is Magnay. And then he's been hit with an unsportsmanlike foul from the replay centre, who must have been,
Who was that?
doing something.
Who was the replay center guy?
Yeah.
Who is that dude?
And then later he gets a tech foul. There's the 2 year out of the game, which opens the door then for Sydney to win that game. And it was a tremendous performance by Tasmania to not let that happen, to just keep going and win that game. But these sorts of things. Four ticks for that incident in the Southeast Melbourne Illawarra game.
Yeah.
So what happens is Tyler Harvey gets into it a little bit with Malik Lewis. In comes Geordie Hunter to sort of act as peacemaker. Big Geordie. Yeah. All right. Okay, Geordie, I'm not messing with you.
Geordie ain't hurting the fly.
Yeah. And then they give out 4 tick fouls, 2 to each team. And then, they all cancel each other. Then what is the point? Yeah. Just go, guys, settle down. Let's play basketball. Come on, let's go.
Grab the 2 leaders like they used to do in the back in the day. Grab the 2 captains or 2 leaders or 2 influential people on the court and say, come here. Go calm your people down. If you don't, this is what's going to happen. And then let it happen. But the most egregious one was the one with Ben Air and Parker Jackson when he shoots the 3-pointer. Yeah. It lands. He didn't jump forward. He didn't do anything exaggerated. He hits the shot, and they call an offensive foul. It should have been a 4-point play.
Yeah.
And you look back at it, and you're waiting for Ben to grab him or do something. Like he shot the ball, hands dropped, landed on the ground, made contact with Parker because Parker closed off the landing space. It was an offensive foul.
Yeah.
I've never seen anything like it.
Likewise, I replayed that a couple of times because I couldn't believe it.
I want to see what he saw.
Yes.
Like when I see that, this is when I feel like it's cheating. When they call something that they didn't see. If they saw something and called it wrong, then that's a human mistake. Okay. But you can't see someone stepping out of bounds if they didn't step out of bounds. Yeah. You can't see someone grab someone if they didn't grab them. You could only have that intention already in your head. And those are the ones that I question over the years.
Do you think Ben gets a raw deal? Because I do. I know he's got a bit of shit about him and he gets after people but I don't think he gets a call. He doesn't get a call.
He's not going to get that 50-50 call, but most guys in his position is not going to get that 50-50 call. Okay. So I don't think it's necessarily Ben. I just think it's a second string guard coming off the bench. They're not going to get that call.
So in that game, that was an Ignite Cup game, which is a point for every quarter you win. And 3 for the victory, so 7 possible points. Tassie got 6 out of that. That's pretty good effort against Sydney, who's coming in after what they had just done to Adelaide. So do you think that they came into Adelaide with a plan? We're going to stop Bryce, we're going to do this, that, and the other, which they executed perfectly, and that they then sort of like mentally exhaled, like, okay, we got that done, let's go down to Tassie, and poof, they got one in the face.
I've coached many teams where the feel of momentum can be sometimes the wrong way. Sometimes your team will feel like we're great, and they don't work to be great. You don't want that. And that's probably where Sydney was at. They worked really hard in that game to be great. Now you got to carry that on. And then sometimes they work really hard and they are great as a result of that. And they work together and they work hard and they play hard. But I don't think they're believers yet in their hard work, and they're going to lose a few, and then they got to become believers in their hard work.
Well, they did the job against Perth. I mean, we've seen again some great results on the weekend.
Perth looked out of sorts, though.
Yeah.
I mean, losing Jones and I thought really played extremely well and better than Jones played.
And better than Dante Russo-Nance, who this ridiculous experiment continues. Just get Jaron really in the starting lineup and pick up a point guard.
Like that guy should be, I would pick up a point guard and not have really bagging him up. and Dante Nance, Russo.
Dante Russo.
He's not impressed me in many games.
No.
I'll tell you who did impress me, though, was and you would probably know his name, is the young man that played for Illawarra.
Jackson Ball?
Jackson Ball. I just thought he had extreme poise and showed some great confidence when he came in the game. It just, New Zealand basketball is coming along. It is definitely producing some players.
Yeah, but Illawarra at the moment, that performance against Southeast Melbourne was miserable. It was miserable. And a lot of that go down, jack it up crap, just no passing, just go. That's not how they got to where they got to.
Yeah, I just think right now they're talent depleted. I just don't think they have the time. I think we underestimate a Korean player. I wouldn't know his name either.
Hung Jong Lee.
I think we're underestimating what he came along and did. Trey Kell affected the scoreline more than just points.
Yes.
When they had him out there, I think so that was huge. And then, you got a guy that was playing coming off your bench that's now in the NBA and Lockie.
Yeah.
And obviously Sam being out is a huge loss because you had a guy down there that could get things done.
And Dave O'Hickey. So, that's a big chunk.
Yeah, so that's a big chunk of talent just out. And I just think they're talent depleted right now.
Speaking of which, how about Brisbane going into Perth for an Ignite Cup match and coming away with 7 points? Like every quarter.
Lash.
Yeah, he is the man. He's the man.
You are the man, Stu. Went down there and got it done. Y'all better leave Stu alone. This little trifecta thing they got going on coaching is working, man. That was just amazing.
Wasn't it?
That was just amazing. That's amazing. But Prather is playing some of the best basketball I've ever seen him play.
Yeah.
When he was a young player, he just went and got buckets on talent. Okay, and he was exceptionally talented. So you just go get buckets on talent. And then what you like to see out of players is them age and grow and learn how to score with their head. And he's doing both. He's not just scoring with his head. He's going to get some too. But, man, it's good to see.
Yeah, he was just a pleasure to watch and has been all season. But yeah, what happened to Perth? Like Mason Jones had his best game. Not that it was very good, but he had his best game and then they cut him. You don't fit. I remember I said at the start of the season, he has to win the MVP to make him forget Bryce Cotton. He has to, and he's gone. So just compounds.
First game he did, didn't he?
But then you got Bryce goes and gets 53, and everybody in West Australia must go, oh my God, what did we let happen? 53, which is, he's had a 59, he's had a 53, he's had a 51. Reg Bidding's 63 is still safe from 1982, but he's right up there. He's going to get it.
I think he'll get it because the system's set up for him to get a disproportionate amount of shots with Adelaide. But, he has so much energy to go do that. Like, you could see that he was tired.
Yeah.
Like, you could see his body language that he was tired. But when he needed to have energy, he did. If he was coming off a screen, he still came off with energy. If he needed to sprint and get in position, he still did that. If he moved off the ball, he still did that. So even though you could physically see that he was fatigued, he didn't act like it.
No.
Champion.
So it's interesting, Adelaide, because they take care of Southeast Melbourne, who didn't have a very good game. Their shooting percentage was abominable, and they were missing layups. Hunter Maldonado, he was hunting a layup, and he didn't know how to find it.
Well, they had missed about 3 or 4 layups in a row, and then as he came down the fast break, we were sitting right in his drive line, and me and my buddy looked at each other and said, he can't miss this one. And as soon as we said that,
clunk
out of his hand. I haven't seen a missed fast break layup in a pro game in a long time.
How does that happen? That's got to be mental because you know how to do it. It's got to be mental.
When everyone's doing it, when I coach and I was, whatever the mood was, if everyone was doing it, then it's got to be me. Like if the whole team's doing it,
right.
Like I put that energy back on me. If we got 1 or 2 people that are out of sorts and we got everybody else on page, then that's those 1 or 2 people. But in that game, that's got to be something I would put back on the bench. And as me as a coach, that's what I would say. If everybody's seemed to be a bit off, then it's got to be me.
I've seen that with free throws too.
Yeah.
Somebody who's a reliable free throw shooter will go and clunk 2, and then it goes through the whole team. Nobody can make better than 1 out of 2 all night.
Look,
Weird.
I
That's weird.
say it all the time. Sport is just a microcosm of society, right? What you feel when we're walking around society, if we feel good about ourselves, good things happen. If we don't feel good about ourselves, bad things happen. On the basketball court, same way. There's no physical reason why you should win more games at home than on the road. The only difference is people clap for you at home and you feel good and you do good things.
Yeah, so back to Adelaide. They won at home and then they've gone up to Cairns where they won a few weeks ago by 30 plus. When Jack McVeigh was still playing prior to his wrist injury, which you foreshadowed on last week's show. And they get by 5 points, and Bryce has got to get 53 for them to do it. What's going on? Did they just go up there?
That's the game they would have lost last year. So, like, if you can win ugly, in the last two games, Southeast and the Cairns game wasn't pretty games by Adelaide. And if they were running into a stronger opponent, they probably would not have won those two. You got to win ugly, and if that's a sign of a good team, if you can win a few ugly ones.
So we got Melbourne beating Brisbane in Brisbane, and your man Jalen Adams was sleepwalking through most of it, and then in the last quarter he's gone for 20 points in the last quarter, and they've gone from a 20-point lead at 82-62 to, I think they already put the cue on the rack and we're heading home, and suddenly Jalen Adams decides, I remember what I was like when I was good, and does that for a quarter. That's a coach killer to me.
It is. I mean, that's just not a coach killer. That's also a team killer, because Jalen is actually a good guy amongst the group. Like the guys like him.
Sure.
He's a good human. Like they like him, okay? But they don't see him putting all in. But they like him too much to say, Jalen, what the fuck are you doing? Like, you're killing us here. So they kind of stay away from it, and then they may not give the energy they should because he's not giving the energy he should. And it's a cancer amongst the team. If you can do that in the fourth quarter, then why didn't you do it in the first quarter? We've seen the difference in your body language.
Yeah.
And we said it all year, though. We said it. From last year, Sydney, he looks the same.
But going back though, that was a pretty good weekend for Brisbane to almost get Melbourne, get within, close enough, but what they did to Perth in Perth, that's a good weekend for them, given the way their season has been going. Yeah.
You take that and you roll with it, and now you try to sit down and say, Jalen, work with us. Like, work with us. Like, you see what you can do when you play the way you play. Like, when you play hard and you play with energy, you see what our team looks like.
Yeah. Well, that's where I think he might be a coach killer, because in that group I'd go, all right, well, then I'll hang on to Lamar Patterson if he's going to give us that. But if he's not going to give us that, then I'd be looking at maybe replacing him.
Oh, my thoughts on it. I would have never brought him in.
All right, it's time for our Built Solutions Build Your Team of the Week. But
I'm going to give mine first.
No, you're not going to give yours first, because you copied me. I'm not letting you get away with that. After you went after me for not trading DJ last week.
We've been going first the whole time.
No,
I've been going first the whole time.
Because you stole my five, because you didn't have five.
All right,
be honest to the public. All right, tell us about Built Solutions, because budgets are very important, and I think you got caught, didn't you?
Well, just anytime you're on a project, the biggest ig is time costs money. People don't realize that, but when you're building and you got a project going up, time is money. I mean, it's big. So, you go over a project 45 days and it's costing you $600 a day in interest. It starts to add up quick. So you want to make sure you stay on your timeline, which is also going to affect your budget. But what Build Solutions do that I really love is that every stage that you go through, they're checking the budget to make sure you're exactly where you want to be.
Right.
And sometimes you may be over, maybe under, and then you can make, a change in the next phase and try to get back on track.
Excellent. Well, here's my team.
Here's your Build Solutions team.
Yes. Is Bryce Cotton, because that's a 53-point game.
53.
That's
so I would have to pick that one, right?
If you were copying, yes.
You would.
Yeah. By the way, with Bryce, I noticed he was at the Lightning game yesterday, which means from Cairns, he's come back. He's had a 53-point game, and from Cairns, whoop, straight back to Adelaide to get there in time for the Lightning's opening. It was against Perth. I know he's got friends on the Perth team, but I think that's just a class act. That's really
definitely a class act. And I told you the other day that Cairns trip is the hardest trip in the game. Yeah. So the 6-7 hour trip getting back here and to show up at a Lightning game, just all class.
Yep. Okay, which is probably why you put him on your team. All right, I've got Chris Goulding. Right, he's gone, 5 of 6 threes at one stage in their last game against New Zealand. And I think he finished, I'm making sure I don't confuse this because Angus Glover went 7 of 8 in the half. So I've got Angus Glover in my group for that. Then he's finished on 8 of 12. I think Chris has finished 6 of 8. Mm-hmm. Just a quick shout out to Tanner Cripps. He was 5 of 8.
Yeah.
You know that.
Tanner's playing good this year too.
Yeah.
I think he's doing well.
So I've got Bryce, Chris, Angus Glover, Casey Prather is just killing.
Yep.
He's got to be in any MVP discussion, certainly All-Star 5.
Yep.
And then JaVale McGee, look, I know they're losing, but Illawarra's losing, but he is amazing.
He does 3 or 4 things that make me jump out my seat every time. Like some of the moves he's making after dribble on the face-up is just unbelievable. The agility and the ability to move the ball from left to right is amazing. Like
He's a 7'1" guy. I didn't know he had this level of skill in him. I know he played for the US Olympic team. I know he's a good player, but the things he's showing, I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, I mean, it's no scrubs in the NBA, and it just shows you. He played his role in the NBA the way he was supposed to play it, but, man, his ability to get jiggy with that ball is unbelievable. Like, my goodness.
JaVale getting jiggy with it. Excellent.
Yes,
like
sir.
it. So your 5 are?
Pretty much the same as your 5.
Funny that.
Except I'm going to remove Angus Glover out of there because he played 2 games. One of them was exceptional, and one of them was not so exceptional. But Parker Jackson, I'm going to put in there. That man is unbelievable. Like some of his ability to get to the hole and score and do all that stuff. He's deceptive in this way. His legs are as long as anybody. So he takes a step. He's taking the same step as everyone else, but he's so much faster.
Yeah.
So he blew by Ben Air one time, and Ben wasn't even close, and Ben's a good defender. That guy can move, and so I got to throw him in there. Everyone else the same. I'm going to replace him.
So you've got Parker Jackson Cartwright, Bryce Cotton, Chris Goulding, Casey Prather, JaVale McGee. I want to give a quick shout out to Tiger Campbell at Tasmania. Under a bit of pressure, came out and was hitting threes and had a 21-point game in their opening match of the round. Yeah. I thought he sort of quietened the critics, but then I would have liked to have seen a bit more against New Zealand.
Yeah, I think he's got to give us a little bit more, and Parker Jackson definitely won that battle.
All right, we've got some viewer topics. Again, keep them coming, and we'll try and get through all of them over a period of time. So we've got a few here. Marcus Gleason says, Melbourne exposed Sydney's weakness by sending Xavier Cooks to the free throw line where he was 1 of 10. So can you afford to play him in a close finish?
No. I've said that before. If a guy, and I don't have this figured out now, but I'd had it figured out then, if you foul him enough, it becomes a turnover. Like it's so many fouls every couple possessions. If you foul him and he goes and he shoots less than 50%, then it's a turnover. And one possession in the last 2 minutes of the game is so invaluable. I don't know if you can play him. And as a coach, I'm willing to take that gamble if I'm the opposing coach.
Yes.
If he's out there, I'm fouling him in that last couple minutes, and we'll live with it.
Okay, we've got Artie. He's becoming a regular. Specifically opens this by saying, question for Joey.
Oh, who I got to trade now?
No. If a few things had gone your way, do you believe you could have had a decent career in the NBA? If that's so, what would those things have been?
Oh, just luck and timing. I couldn't have done anything more physically with my game. The one thing I can say is that I've trained myself to the level that I got 100% of whatever I had. So
right.
I got to live with it. But timing, right place, nothing drastic.
Okay. Aaron Gagoli goes, Joey. See, they're not interested in me. I just read this stuff out. During your successful coaching years, how early can you pick up on things from players that you want to make changes and implement, either at training or during a game?
Typically, physically, I'll have an idea of what we need to work on when a player comes to the team. So if it's a new player coming to the team, I'll typically know how I want to fit them in and what I think they're going to do. Sometimes you get there and there's some great surprises, positive and sometimes negative, but not a lot. Most of the time, the people came in and acted the way I pretty much thought they would and played the way I thought they would.
And as a coach, are you generally happy after 5 games, or is it still too early for how you want your team to be tracking?
Unfortunate part, you're never happy. if you win 6, you're worried about losing the 7th, and that's starting the run of losing 4 in a row. Like, it's a level of satisfaction, but you're never ever satisfied. So, and that's for every year. Like, I'm just now. I can watch a game, enjoy.
So you're saying that Dean Vickerman at 7-0 is not sleeping
you
well?
See Dean over there? Yeah. Do Dean look like Dean's happy? No. Dean is worried about one thing: winning that next game. That's it.
All right. Okay. Van Exel TV says, "What's up with Lamar Patterson? He's a 2-time All-NBL player." Oh, this is a question from a couple of weeks ago. He gets 12 minutes against Tasmania. He's in great shape. Was +8, and yet Purchase, Divas, and Dalton get more minutes than him. What am I missing here?
Future. Divas and Tang Murray are future players in the league. Lamar is over he's probably over that right now to be even considered as a future player. He's definitely high 30s. And so they're looking for some guys that can play in the future. And more importantly, they're looking at someone who plays D. Divas, that kid gets after. He's been a star, and if anything's great come out of all this, is his pickup and what he's doing out there. But they're looking for defense, energy, the ability to knock the shot down.
Okay, we'll be back in a second with our game of the week. All right, we're back, and we've got plenty to say about the game of the week, which we've both identified as being 1 versus 2. Melbourne versus Adelaide. Your thoughts? It's in Melbourne.
I think it'll be a great game. I just think it'll be a great game, and it'll tell us a lot about both teams, I think. I do think Melbourne will probably pull that one out being at home. It'll be great to see what Bryce does with a Walker, Tyson Walker, because he's that guy out there. He plays some D. He's so far been my favorite player.
They had some problems, though, with Jalen Adams in that quarter.
It's when you drop your energy, you think, Brisbane doesn't want it. They don't. They're not out here playing to win it. We're up. That's just one of those mental things. Okay. I don't see that to be an issue.
I don't rate Jalen next to Bryce. So Bryce is a major upgrade. So yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'll be interested to see how they defend him with no Shea Ely. It's just Tyson Walker and Dash Daniels really.
Yeah, and those are 2 pretty good defenders. And Dash Daniels with his long arms, the person that can guard Bryce well is a guy that's got the reach on Bryce and a couple inches taller and just as quick as Bryce. I don't know if Dice is as quick as him, but he's pretty close. Walker's definitely as quick as him.
And then they've got to deal with Chris Goulding, with Milton Doyle. Jesse Edwards, Isaac Humphries could be a pretty interesting battle, depending on fouls again.
Fouls, yeah.
And who knows what we're going to get from the officials. My God. The officiating this week, do you reckon that was the worst you've ever seen? I mean, it was 2
or 3 calls that once again you just question. Like you can't see what you didn't see. You can't make something up like that. Yeah, it was a few questionable calls.
Okay, we want to thank Built Solutions for sticking with us, and we'll be seeing you sooner than later.